I'm in the middle of Stonehenge right now. I'm very inspired by this place, lots of words coming through, but I really want to be in this moment instead of filming. I want to soak up the energy. So just know what comes after this has been inspired by this place because I'm in Stonehenge. What is life? Hi everyone! This is an extension of the video I made in Stonehenge. I am now in my friend's garden in England. The sun is actually out, which this trip has, I think I've seen it for an accumulation of a few hours instead of some days. So I just figured I would take advantage of sitting in the sunshine and finishing some of the messages that were kind of coming through me from Stonehenge. The interesting thing is it's a bit of an add-on to something that's been sort of going through my mind that I've been trying to process and trying to wrap my head around. There's a lot of times I've been getting this message, and I've actually had to learn to get into the practice of hearing messages through my heart before my mind can understand it, and just being patient, because that's what's been happening lately. It's like, you need to do this, and my brain's like, what? You know, like the selling the house, quitting my job, starting a new thing. I've been feeling very called to things, and my brain is a lot of times having to catch up. And thankfully, eventually it does. But this is part of the same theme in the sense that this message has been coming to me. I've been feeling it. I've been hearing things, but my mind has just had to catch up. And I think it finally has. So, a lot of times when things don't work out with a situation, whether it's a person I was trying to date or like a career path I was trying to take or something that I was trying to establish in my life, I would hear this loud message or just even almost feel it that it is time for you to stand on your own and have your voice and your presence and your energy be what is at center view for everybody. And what I mean by that is I can get very caught up in relationships. My friends always call me out for this. It's just who I am. I love big. I don't shame myself for it. When I like someone, I'm all into them. And when things haven't worked out, I've heard a very clear, you should be focusing on you right now. You're being called for something big. And oftentimes I'm like, yeah, but I can do that with somebody. But while I was in Stonehenge, I kept having this feeling or this thought that kept coming up. I can't really describe how it comes through quite yet because I don't know that there are words for it. And it was something like, you need to start understanding that you have a message that will be so helpful to the world and that people will listen to you even though Steve's not here. And I think I've spoken about this before. The internet has done a very good job at trying to make me feel like my personal story, anything I share about myself, is never going to be as important as anything going on with Steve. And now I've done a lot of work to not actually buy into that, but I think deep down there's some deep rooted times where I won't speak up or I won't share certain things, or I feel like what I have to say is nowhere near as important as what I did with Steve. And I limit myself with a lot of these beliefs in that I don't have as much to offer now that I'm not doing this great big thing like taking care of my husband and sharing about how important it is to be thankful for your able body by sharing some of his journey of what he was going through. And life and the Stones were very much so have been trying to say, you actually do have a lot to share, quite a lot actually. And it's time you start doing it because you're being called to it. And so I started to do some of my marketing for my new practice I've started. It's called Coming Back to Hope. I'll link here in case anyone's interested in me being your therapist. And, you know, while my friend is working, I'm here for her wedding, and, you know, she still had to work, and there's lots of stuff going on. I've been able to work on my own stuff a little bit, which has been really nice to have the space. And I was on LinkedIn, a very new platform for me. I'm very much so like a Instagram girly. And something that I just had like a sudden realization was everyone's on there very clearly talking proudly about themselves. Not in a bad way, in a great way. Like, hey, this is my strength. This is what I can help you with. This is what I can provide for your life. And it's a really beautiful thing to witness people in their confidence and their uh, like stand firmness of knowing what it is they do well in the world. And it was really inspiring to me, actually. And it made me realize that everything that has been coming through to me is true. I really haven't done a wonderful job at saying, hey, you know what? I have a lot to offer the world. I have a lot to offer the world. My message is important. My skill set is important. I am actually very capable of a lot of things and can help a lot of people. And yeah, I think that I have been getting in my own way for quite some time and have been allowing myself to be distracted. And, you know, it's much easier to pour into other people than it is to yourself if you don't believe in what you're pouring into within yourself. And so I definitely felt a very loud message that it's time that I start to re-put the focus on me and figure out what it is and how it is I am going to share what's been building in me. And yeah, I think there's going to be lots coming. I mean, obviously, I have my own practice. I have so many dreams and goals that have, I feel grateful for the visions. And I wrote a blog about this the other day. Like, this wasn't even on my radar. It was very divinely planned because I hadn't even thought about it. And then circumstances were like, you need to start your own practice. And now I have all these ideas just coming through me. And since I have gotten into the practice of understanding that my heart is going to feel things and it's okay to say yes, even if my brain's like, wait, wait, wait. And in fact, that's when all the good stuff happens. So I have great plans with this practice, but I have other things I'm ready to share. And yeah, I believe things are going to be vastly different for me after this trip. I mean, I've never had the fortune of being like on a vacation for this long, and I feel really thankful for my friend for providing this for me. And they've also convinced me to extend my time in Italy. So on Sunday, the day after their wedding, I leave for Italy for 18 days, which I'm so thankful. I've been feeling called to Italy since I was a child, and my great grandparents were Italian, and I would just watch and eat their food and so intrigued by them and their culture. I can't wait to experience it firsthand. And I plan to soak up that city, but also work on some things at the same time. Because again, having this space is a blessing, because I quit my job and then left for this trip. I started my own practice, but I didn't open my calendar until August. So this time is a blessing, and I feel like this space has provided a lot of clarity and a lot of understanding that, girl, it's time, you're ready, and the only thing stopping you is you. And it's funny because after the Stonehenge, the day after, I had a dream, and the dream was like, we want you to use your voice. It was like singing to me and kind of like, I don't know, like chanting kind of music. It was really beautiful. And it's funny because I didn't realize that Eric and I did not know that we went to Stonehenge on International Rock Day. There's a day for everything, isn't there? And we're big fans of rocks. Like, we stop to look at rocks everywhere we go. So it felt like a really special place. The energy there was amazing. The timing was amazing. But then the dream, it was reiterating to me the things that have been floating through my mind is that I have just as much of a message to offer, even without it being revolved around Steve. And it is time that I stand strongly in my voice and in my power and understand that I have been given a lot of skills and a lot of innate abilities that I've sort of hidden from the world because I've never felt it to be as important as taking care of Steve. And I'm really thankful for this experience. I'm really thankful for the messages. I'm sure there's more. Like I was thinking about how interesting it was that while I was there and I was meditating, I was getting messages that were very similar that I was getting when I would meditate on my land in Mineral Bluff. And I just feel like everywhere I go, God and the universe are working together to be like, how many times do we have to give her the same message before she listens? So I'm listening. I'm not here to make some big grand proclamation of what that actually means, but I'm here to encourage y'all that, when you build a platform and then you're trying to step away and to rebuild it on your own terms, sometimes it can feel a little invalidating because what got everyone's attention before was whatever it was you were talking about. And now when you're switching it up, it's hard because some people don't want to see that. I've noticed that some people truly did struggle with watching me find joy again and find happiness and feel hopeful and to like date and talk about it. And that's okay. But you can't allow other people's responses to you to determine what you do. And so, if you've been thinking about branching out or standing on your own or changing your platform, whatever it is, I'm here to encourage you to do it and trust that calling and that your mind will catch up. Because a lot of times I'm answering calls that I have no idea how or what it even means. But I just know that if I walk in the direction of where I'm being called, it is going to sort itself out. And taking action that is focused in a certain direction with intent of pursuing a passion and pursuing a calling, eventually those steps that you take will all add up and it all ends up falling into place. All you have control over is your part. And the more you show up and do your part, the more the universe will meet you on the way. And I can say that for absolute certain since starting my own practice and the whole getting the house ready to sell, it has just been a wonderful example of listening to the heart, making steps. Every time you can have some clarity about what the next step is, it's okay if you don't know the next 10 steps. It's one step at a time, and then the rest will reveal itself along the way. And so this is the next step, and the rest will reveal itself along the way, and I will share it with you. But I'm thankful for everyone who's followed along with me, both while I was taking care of Steve and now while I am finding my own 2 feet and how to share my own very message. And yeah, I just feel incredibly thankful. I feel incredibly thankful. Like ancient stones were talking to me. And everyone I've talked to, I'm like, I know that sounds crazy. And they're like, no, it doesn't. And I'm like, thank you for that. So if you're feeling called to something and you feel like maybe it sounds a little crazy, but you just feel it in your soul, pursue it. Because that little crazy is where the magic happens. Come join me in the magic. If you have any interest in working with me, as of now, my therapy practice has to be online as well as in the state of Georgia. But I'm also playing around with the idea of opening coaching up to outside of Georgia because I've had so much interest of people outside of the state. And until my license is allowed to be out of the state, I'm trying to find legal and ethical ways in which I can, work one on one with everybody. So check out my website, www.comingbacktohope.com. Message me if you are out of state and you're interested in something, and I will talk to you all soon with hopefully more words.